Alright, time to see how all this works. Alright, it's working, it's working. There we go, we are live now. Alright, it's time to share the stream out. Alright, hold on. Just gotta send it out. Hopefully this works. Yes, it's working. Alright. Sent it out. Believe so, at least. Yes, alright. Hello, if you can hear me, just type in chat. Just double checking everything's working. So we were tracking two tropical, or actually a lot more than two, but two main ones. These two are Cyclone Tej and Cyclone Lola, both in different regions of the world right now. But Cyclone Tej is the closest one, or also known as Tay, which is very cyclonic, or very severe cyclonic storm. And it is approaching the area of Yemen very, very closely, and it will make a landfall within the next 6 or so hours. Just want to make sure. Okay. So yeah, this is where it would be at around 8 p.m. Eastern time. So that'd be, I don't know how long you'd be in this. So it'd be around 3 a.m. Yemen's time when it's over here. So it's going to be making landfall pretty soon. I'd say within the next 5 hours, 6 hours maybe. Then we got other storms like O6b over here heading towards Bangladesh, India, and kind of parts of Myanmar. It is going to be weakening, thankfully, on approach to land, but it is going to be, well, I mean, it's strengthening right now, but it will undergo a weakening process, I believe, due to wind shear. You could see how much the clouds and stuff are being pushed to the northeast with this kind of storm. All this is getting pushed this kind of direction, all the clouds. So that's what's happening with O6b. That would be named. I don't know what name is next in the North Indian Ocean. But our powerhouse of a storm, Cyclone Lola, one of the strongest on records in terms of early season storms. I don't know if it is the record for strongest early season storm. Their season starts November 1st, so it starts in around 7 or 8 days. And we've already gotten a Category 4 out of this. This is a very crazy situation. I don't know if they have radar. Hopefully they do in the area. Let me check. No, Vanuatu does not have radar, sadly. So they might, but there's just no data. I don't know. But yeah, there is a very strong storm heading towards Vanuatu. Thankfully, it should undergo a gradual weakening process on approach to Vanuatu. And then when it heads south, it's going to be also weakening as it approaches. I forgot what this area is called. Let me add. Where's it? Because I'm not seeing land area names for whatever reason. I'm supposed to be seeing cities, which I'm not. Don't know why that is. Labels, there it is. Alright. And so it is, oh, New Caledonia. Okay, yeah. Okay, I don't know why I didn't know the name. Alright, but yeah, it is approaching there as well, but it's going to be much, much weaker, thankfully. But yeah, the main threat right now is Vanuatu, as it will strike as potential as a likely Category 3 on the Fiji scale, under the the South Pacific scale, hurricane scale. But yeah, right now it's a Category 4 on both scales, the worldwide scale and the regional scale. But I mean, it will weaken down to a Category 3, then gradually just weaken out to sea, thankfully. Well, I mean, towards New Caledonia. It is going to be a big threat. I can't state that enough. It is still a very bad land threat. But yeah, right now we're looking at Cyclone Tej. I'll play the latest. Let me see how much frames there are here. The last 6 hour loop. It is heading towards sunset right now. Sunset is just starting to occur in the region. I don't know why it just froze on me. Yeah, it's lagging a bit. Yeah, Cyclone Tej, as you can see, sunset is finally occurring. This line right here is the sunset. And it is almost sunset in the region right now. Doesn't seem like it wants to give me a loop. That's fine. Let's see if I can do one on Lola. Nope. Okay. But yeah, it has been, as you can see though, it's gotten an eye together. That shows that's very, very powerful. You can see the eye wall right over this area, but you can see new convection or cloud tops and see how fluffy this area is and how much whiter it is compared to everywhere else. That's new strengthening on this side, which is going to continue to wrap around, basically chasing after its eye wall and just trying to get more and more organized. Here it is right here, and you'll see in the latest frames that it starts to get its southwestern side more organized right over here. It's going to be continuing to wrap around as it has been. You can see it was over here and then continues to circle around. But yeah, it is strengthening still. I mean, it might be peaking right now. That's the hope. And now it looks like the eye is shrinking once again, which that's very good. I do not know what the eye temperature peaked out as, so I'm gonna check that. Right, let me get some good imagery on Lola, or its eye temperature. Yeah, because right now it's back into the negatives. So that means that it's weakening. It was in the positives, definitely, but okay, now it looks like its eye just got a lot warmer. It's around minus 10 degrees Celsius, but yeah, earlier it was in the sevens, in the low, like lower than 10 degrees Celsius. So I mean, it still had a clear eye, briefly. You can see it over here. Its eye was looking very good. I mean, this was the case ever since it started over here. You could see how an eye was trying to develop. And it finally got its act together. Right here and there it forms it. So it's not going to be sunrise there for a little while, where it's around midnight, 1 a.m. actually in the region. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to take a while until we get daylight imagery, but right now we only have night imagery. Something else that's going on right now is 95L over here near Nicaragua. This is something that may become a brief tropical depression or tropical storm. You can see how it has a little ways until it finally reaches the coastline of Nicaragua. It will eventually move in, no matter what. Let me see if I can get the distance tool up. Yeah, so it's around 70 or 80 miles. So yeah, it is slowly approaching the area. Daylight's occurring there. So now we can get better imagery on it. This is what it's been looking like for the past 6 hours. Let me actually move it up. Alright. There's been an upper level circulation up over here. Looks like, yeah, the lower level actual center is down over here. You can see new plumes of convection or clouds are forming here as it slowly moves towards southern Nicaragua. We do have radar in that region. Let's take a look at what that's showing. So as you can see, this is parts of the low-level circulation down here. Radar data does show it. You can see some circling around basically that area. And yeah, there's lots of lightning activity as well, something to note, and lots of big little areas of moderate to heavy rainfall in the region. It's disorganized showers right now. Alright, here's another look at 95L over here, the big plume of convection on the southern, or over the center now, showing that it is continuing to organize. Alright, something else though is that we have another storm. Let me pull this up. Otis. Otis is going to be approaching the Mexican coastline, which would mean another stream. And if I go out over here, it is expected to peak out as a mid-range tropical storm at around 60 miles an hour before finally striking land. Let me just check this. Yeah, so in roughly 3 to 4 days, it's going to strike land roughly as a 60-mile-an-hour storm. Tropical storm watches have been issued for Acapulco, that area, and then further down to the east and west. And then we also have the remnants of Norma, which are about to make landfall, looks like. Haven't seen much of it, but yeah, it's looking like it's already made landfall, and it's going to be dying out very, very rapidly. It is aiding in some moisture over Dallas, or just the whole entire area of Texas, where they could get some little bits of isolated flooding in roughly this region. But yeah, as you can see, the clouds are moving this direction from the center due to very high amounts of wind shear, which blows the clouds away. Oh yeah, but here it is in daytime right now for 95L. We'll get a new intensity guidance on these storms, Tammy and Norma, in around an hour. Oh, and Otis. Otis, they've made an intermediate advisory. Looks like they've upped it to 45 miles an hour as of recently. Yep, but if we go back over here, we can see Hurricane Tammy as well, which may be approaching Florida or the Bahamas afterwards, but it's very uncertain. We do think it's going to approach Bermuda. That should be pretty clear. But afterwards, we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so here's the features. There's the cold front, and so that acts as a deflection, so that's why the storm's going to start moving to the northeast, along with the cold fronts. But then the cold front leaves the area, so it gives the tropical cyclone a chance to turn west towards Bermuda. And afterwards, we don't know what's going to happen. It all depends on if a cold front develops over the United States or not, if it's going to curve down towards Bermuda and Florida, or if it's going to actually just stall and go back out to sea. It's like a 50-50 shot of both. Still monitoring that very closely. Alright, but yeah, that's Tammy. Tammy may become a Category 2 in this region. It does have some slight potential before it starts to really weaken and becomes post-tropical. Alright, now going back over to 06B, here it is. We have a low-end tropical storm expected to intensify into a moderate tropical storm or cyclonic storm as it then finally goes towards Bangladesh. Bangladesh, Myanmar, and India, those areas. Still, it could go to the east, could go to the west, but the main center is most likely going to go down this path. And it is going to weaken before making landfall. So that's something else. Alright. Going back to Lola, though, you can see its banding is very, very healthy. On the northern side, here it is. And also on the southern side, there's huge bands. The northern banding actually all the way extends down to the south of the storm, giving it a very healthy environment. Protects it, shields it from dry air and everything. The core is protected right now. And we could see some slight intensification maybe, but I doubt it. It should be on a weakening trend soon. Alright, let me see if I can finally get this 6-hour loop. And here it is where you can see the clouds chasing around each other. Alright, here it is. This has been its loop for the past 6 hours or so, starting at around 4 a.m., going all the way up to 9 or nearly 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Or up to 1 a.m. Vanuatu time. But yeah, it strengthens to a Category 4, and it is expected to strike as a Category 2/3, depending on the scale. And yeah, that is going to be pretty bad for Vanuatu, which has been hit earlier this year with cyclones Kevin and another one. So yeah, this is going to be heading out to New Caledonia as well as a post-tropical system. May be very broad, so lots of impacts, or lots of areas getting impacts. Alright, but yeah, we did have our latest analysis on it. It was 130 miles an hour, 947 millibars. Just 1 millibar lower than their intensity estimates. Not a big difference. But I'm here. I'm going to show up every condition for these storms now. Nope, wrong thing. Alright, so for Tammy, this is Tammy's conditions in terms of model data. Um, Here we go. Where is it this? Okay. If I can pull it up in a moment. So yeah, for with this storm, it's pretty clear that it will try and make a turn to the west, eventually. But something else to note, though, is that wind shear is going to skyrocket within the next 36 to 48 hours. That's why it turns post-tropical. Sea surface temperatures are on a gradual decline, but they're not really a problem until like 3 days from now. And then dry air is, it's not really impacting the system. I don't think. If I take another look at it, don't think it's impacting it at all. Yeah, I mean it's kind of dry on this side right now. That it could try and intrude in the system, and that would prevent it from becoming a Category 2 and potentially weaken it. Right, but that's Tammy's path. I'll show the ensembles and models where they say it's going later. Right, but yeah, going over to the next storm, which is going to be 95L. This shows its conditions that it's facing right now. It should be a very, very good environment here. As you can see, the sea surface temperature, or the the wind shear is very low, so it has lots of good time to develop throughout the next 36 hours. Sea surface temperatures are perfect. Humidity is very, very favorable. So yeah, it has some really, or a really good chance to organize, and it will go back out into the Pacific, but it will have less favorable conditions. Yeah, some model runs show it strengthening, but that's mainly because it's going to merge with Otis. And speaking of Otis, I'll show that as the next system. So yeah, throughout the next few days, like 2 to 3 days, it has some good time to strengthen, due to there being low wind shear, good sea surface temperatures, and high humidity levels. But then wind shear is expected to skyrocket afterwards, which should weaken it some, or just help it maintain or pause its intensification phase, or even slow it down. But yeah, hurricane can't be ruled out over here. Yeah, so Mexico really needs to be out on the lookout for this. Yeah, but that's Otis. Yeah, but another thing with this though is that the remnants of 95L, if it does form or whatever, it is going to be approaching the system, and it will hit it. So that's what's supposed to weaken it as well, or pause its intensification or slow it down. Alright, going over to Norma, which is likely a remnant low at this time. Conditions really don't matter or anything, but yeah, wind shear, if I pull this up, wind shear is very, very high with this, which is why it's aiding in the clouds being pushed over to Texas, this area, and flooding threats. But yeah, dry air, it's very, very dry. Yeah, and the intensity is just going to drop off now, and it should die within the next 12 hours or so. Alright, going into the North Indian Ocean, this is Cyclone Tej, right over here, which is a, oh, please don't be lagging. Alright. Let me just double check the stream real quick. But yeah, Cyclone Tej here is it is going to be weakening now as it approaches land, and dry air becomes a big problem with it. I mean, it already is, but it is going to be continuing to get worse and worse due to wind shear levels up here on the top. It's going to skyrocket out of the charts, off the charts here, as it moves further inland. And sea surface temperatures won't really be a problem, but mid-level relative humidity is a problem. Dry air can really weaken the storm, thankfully. But yeah, intensity is going to drop down very fast. As soon as it strikes land, it's going to really weaken, and it could die very, very quickly. Right, back over to the next one, Tropical Cyclone 6B. Let me pull this up. Yeah, so ensembles on this one, it does have some brief time to intensify. The only problem with this, though, is that wind shear is going to increase very rapidly. So it has roughly 12 to 24 hours for some decent intensification. It won't be that much, maybe to a mid-range tropical storm before then dropping off due to higher wind shear, and dry air is going to be a problem with this as well. Now going to our strongest storm right now, Lola. Model data on this one. Wind shear is incredibly low. Right now, as you can see over here. So yeah, wind shear is not a problem with this, which means it could intensify even further throughout the next 12 hours or so. Relative humidity, that's going to become a problem later on in its lifetime when it starts to transition into a post-tropical storm. Sea surface temperatures, basically every model has it making landfall in Vanuatu before then, continuing to weaken. After it strikes Vanuatu, that's when it passes lower sea surface temperatures, and that will be its demise after that. So it is going to continue to weaken. Alright, so now I'm going to show you all the paths that each of these storms are going to take, roughly. Tom Bird's website is very, very helpful in showing these graphics. Oh, wrong thing, hold on. Yep, so we have many storms going on, a total of 7 systems active that are at least named. So yeah, starting off with the first one here, Tammy. Tammy is going through unfavorable, it's going to be weakening in terms of sea surface temperatures. That's not the only thing bad with it. But yeah, as you can see here, it is like a 50-50 shot on where it's going. Is it going to curve here and then go out, or is it going to curve and head towards Florida? That's what we're not so sure about right now. And yeah, model trends, as you can see, they've, if I pull this up here, they've shifted. The lighter colors are the earlier ones. Yeah, you can see how earlier they showed it going this way, but now all the models are turning more east and then more west, basically. Oh shoot, my bad. Going back over to Tammy though. D-ship, let me see what they're keeping it as a category 1. A slight chance of rapid intensification. I doubt that. Yeah, wind shear is going to be on the rise, as you can see here. Max potential, intensity on the decline, sea surface temperatures declining, humidity declining, oceanic heat content on the downfall. This is roughly where the strongest parts of the storm is, on the northeastern side. They did find category 2 flight level winds, which are interesting. But yeah, it is it is still somewhat strengthening right now. But yeah, afterwards it's just gonna it's pretty uncertain where it's gonna go. All right, so now over to Otis. Actually, let me check something. Oh yeah, I see it. All right, so back over to Otis, we have the system expected to become a tropical storm very quickly and intensify. Yeah, but still it's uncertain. Is it going to hit land or is it going to curve away? The official NHC does have it striking land. That's this black line over here. But yeah, other models just have it curving the coastline, so that could be more prolonged impacts in the region. And some models take it up to category 1 status, as you can see here. National Hurricane Center, they're not buying it. They're keeping it at a high-end tropical storm before then weakening due to land interaction. Right, but then going over to where it's expected to go, the ensemble runs and stuff, you can see how, most of them take it out to the west. D-ship, they don't have it as a hurricane or whatever. If it did not have land interaction, maybe, but it doesn't seem likely. There is still a possibility of rapid intensification with this. It does have decent conditions and stuff like that, but I doubt it. Alright, going over to our next storm, Norma. This is a pretty simple storm. It's going to be weakening very quickly and stuff like that. It's going to be gone, basically. As you can see, Owen's here have it there and then dying out. So, I mean, it could still be could live for a little bit, but that's it. Yeah, this was their last recon flight. Right, that's Norma. Now going over to Tej, still weakening. It's a Category 1. As you can see, though, models have significantly shifted more and more to the west as it's continued to move that direction, though. It's looking like a very, very confident Yemen landfall. And it's going to still turn west. But yeah, as you can see here, it is on the decline and stuff. All models have it weakening. And yeah, it should die out before it approaches Saudi Arabia. Just mainly a little bit of a rainmaker. It is a desert, so there could be some decent impacts with that. Right, going back over to Cyclonic Storm 6 over here. Not much showing it, but yeah, you can see how it strengthens for a little bit over here, but then it drops off in intensity. So yeah, it's mainly due to wind shear and those kind of conditions. But we're fairly confident it is going to hit Bangladesh. Over here, you can see hits the country of Bangladesh and then goes up. Right now to Lola, Southern Hemisphere. This is a Category 4. As you can see, models have significantly shifted more south throughout all the runs, and it may continue to move south, and that would be a better case scenario, kind of. I mean, it'd give it more time to weaken, or it could give it more time to strengthen. So it's a double-edged sword on that. But yeah, now it's looking definitely like it's going to strike New Caledonia after this. That's still a possibility and stuff. But yeah, model runs, some of them do show that slight intensification is possible before it then dies out. But it could re-intensify afterwards as a post-tropical cyclone, as you can see here. Some of them take it back up to Category 3 status almost. But yeah, maybe a powerful cyclone in terms of post-tropical systems as it approaches New Zealand. So that's something they need to watch out for. I am going to look at it on this model run over here, see what they mean by that. Haven't really taken a good look at it. Oh yeah, I see it's going to merge with another system and then impact New Zealand, basically. Yeah, that's something they need to watch out for. I am going to check what run they have say. Let me do that. Alright, it's on Lola. Here we go. Yeah, as you can see, it's going to be merging with a cold front down there and strengthen. Let me do the original one over here. As you can see, it gets its act together again right as it's approaching the area. Don't know what winds they're using, but yeah. Right now, let me show you all the rough estimates of where the cyclone winds are and stuff, and then the tropical storm. Tropical storm is green, cyclone force is the purple. So yeah, it is going to be approaching Vanuatu and stuff. Some islands could receive cyclone force winds and maybe even tropical storm force winds. But yeah, it's then going to weaken over towards New Caledonia and then potentially strengthen again as it goes back out to sea towards New Zealand. But yeah, as you can see, it intensified very, very quickly. Category 1 to 2 to then a 4 very quickly. But yeah, so that is rapid intensification that it just did. Pulled off. Right, but now over to 95L, this system in the Atlantic, it has a 60% chance of developing. And as you can see here, the models show it's becoming or could potentially become a tropical storm within the next 24 to 36 hours. This is how much time it roughly has before it finally hits land within the next 24 hours or so. So yeah, it has that much time to become a tropical depression or something. But afterwards, it's going to be merging in the Eastern Pacific with another system, so that's why they might get the intensity wrong because they're tracking a different system. But as you can see, though, it will move over to the Pacific. Still don't think that's going to form or anything, just going to be a low. But yeah, as you can see here, though, this one does call for potential rapid intensification in the region. But yeah, if there wasn't any land, it could become a cyclone. Yeah, but this does call for a low-end tropical storm before hitting land, and then it's going to weaken. Wind shear's not a problem. Sea surface temperatures, everything's not a problem with this, basically. So yeah, if it had like another day or so, it could have become a hurricane. Right. So those are those systems, the region there. Alright, so now I do want to go back to show you all the storms on satellite imagery because they do look pretty good. Tammy's over here. As you can see, though, it's kind of like a 9 shape over here, right over here, and that shows it is strengthening basically, and it does have good banding, so that's why it is a strengthening system there. Yeah, it is going to be approaching Bermuda likely as a post-tropical cyclone. As you can see, the path bends to the east. That's because of this cold front right here. So as that cold front moves in, it's going to be trying to push the system away. But then eventually the cold front has a little bit of a gap for it to move in over here as a post-tropical cyclone. Then we also have Norma finally showing daylight here that it is over land. It is going to be rapidly weakening near Culican in Sinola. Yeah, then we also have Otis down here, which is approaching the area of Mexico right now. As you can see, it is getting organized more and more so. More clouds forming and stuff. And the center is down, as you can see, the center's over here, but the clouds are all spread out over here, which is not good. It needs to be stacked over it for it to strengthen. But yeah, you can see little bits of low-level clouds around the center. And yeah, that is strengthening. Alright, but going back over to 95L, as you can see, though, it does have a really good amount of convection over the center of this kind of system right over here. These clouds are organized over the center, which we could see a tropical depression or tropical storm within the next 24 hours before it finally moves over land. So yeah, potential tropical cyclone designation should be warranted for this region for tropical storm watches or warnings if it does form. But yeah, going back over to other systems like Tej. Tej is now finally, as you can see, its eye is somewhat opening up. Once again, it's not really an organized eye because it's a Category 1 now. And yes, it is approaching, let me see it real quick. Yeah, it is approaching land right now. Very close to hitting near Kishan and Al Qaeda over here as a Category 1 likely. Dry air and wind shear is impacting it. But yeah, it is going to be moving over land and should die out over Yemen. Right, going over to this storm, 06B, looks fairly organized. There's convection or clouds over the center right over here. And it is going to be getting worse and worse with wind shear. As you can see, though, the overall scale of the storm is being pushed this way towards Bangladesh and stuff. All the clouds are over land instead of over the center, basically. So we could see a mid-range to high-end tropical storm before it starts to weaken, and maybe not even a tropical depression landfall. Alright, so now going over to Lola. Lola is an organizing system right now, Category 4 strength on both scales, and it is nearing a landfall in Vanuatu. It is now moving a little bit more west now, finally, than its forecast, which means it may impact the main islands of Vanuatu. I don't know how badly, though. So it is going to be moving over to the area down here, and if it is moving more west, that is meaning it's a more westward trend. Earlier, as you can see, it's been moving much more south. In the first cones, we were expecting it to move like this, somewhat, or moving like this, but yeah, now it's moved a lot more south than first expected. And yeah, it is going to be approaching the area of Vanuatu, and then eventually approach the area of New Caledonia as a remnant or a post-tropical cyclone. But it could be a threat to New Zealand as well, as it is expected to strengthen some as it merges with another cold front, and it will maybe even reach cyclone status as a post-tropical system. Need to watch out for that. Yeah, and there is another disturbance near the over here to the east of Guam. This kind of these low clouds and whatnot could become a tropical system in this area. Been watching it for quite some time. Seems like it could become a something. We've given it a 10% chance. Wait, but looking more at the latest imagery on Lola, trying to see if there's anything new with it. Here, oh yeah, but here's a radar imagery that we have on 95L near Nicaragua. Its center is in this area, roughly over here. It's going to be approaching the area of Nicaragua pretty soon. Yeah, it is getting more and more organized. Thunderstorms are occurring over the center. Yeah, that is approaching land right now. Alright. Let me pull up Lola's eye temperature. -6 degrees. Okay, so it is cooling still. It is weakening, basically, it looks like. Alright. So yeah, let me go over to the conditions for each of them. What the? Hold on. There it is. Okay, CIM, SS, this kind of stuff. This shows it a lot better. Alright, so I'm going to pull up each storm and show you their conditions. This is Tammy, right over here, going towards Bermuda. And then is shear working? Hopefully it is. Yes, there we go. As you can see, it is in a favorable environment right now. Shear's not really impacting it that much. But shear is going to be rapidly increasing. It's in an almost, let me look at its center. See, as you can see, though, most of the clouds are to the east of the center of the storm. That's due to the wind shear pushing it that direction. Lots of, yeah, it's basically pushing it to the east. That's why it doesn't have much clouds extending out of its core. And yeah, it is going to be entering more and more hostile conditions. Yeah, other than shear, though, is there dry air? I believe so, yep. Not really seen on here. But yeah, model runs take it back over to the west. So yeah, National Hurricane Center's following the center. Looking if we got anything else we can look at. Yeah, lightning near on some blow-ups. Is there any ship observations? Buoy is over there, 1,008 millibars. Down over here. Wind speed 70 knots. Okay. Oh, wait, never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. Alright, but going back over to more conditions, the sea surface temperatures, as you can see, it's weakening. After yellow, it's unfavorable. Or after green, it's unfavorable. My bad. Relative or moisture in the air, you can see the dry air up here. Going to be approaching soon. Oceanic heat content still going to be favorable, but it is weakening slowly. See if we got any microwave imagery on the storm. Yes, we do. As you can see, it doesn't have a proper eye or anything yet. It's just mainly on the northwestern side is the strongest part of the storm, it seems like. Right. Ooh, Dvorak estimates have it a lot weaker than it actually is. Alright. So yeah, going over to the next system, which is going to be... Oh, nope, doesn't work like that. It's okay. Next system I want to cover is Invest 95L, if I can pull it up properly. Alright, here we go. Invest 95L, approaching the area of Nicaragua. Here it is right here, and if I pull up shear, as you can see, it's in an extremely favorable environment of around 5 knots of wind shear. So it is incredibly favorable for rapid development, which is why we could see a brief tropical storm out of this, and it would be named Vince if it does form. But yeah, wind shear, as you can see, it's in a spiraling motion out of it, which means it's not impacting the area at all, basically. Oceanic or sea surface temperature is very favorable, as you can see here. And then moisture is good. Oceanic heat content's good. Doesn't show it in that region for some reason. Microwave passes, none of them recently. Look at this kind of stuff. I know this doesn't make much sense. If it has got missed, okay, of course. So yeah, that's 95L. Could become a brief tropical storm soon. All right, now let's go over to Otis. Otis over here is approaching land. Shear should be to the northwest. Let me check. No, it is in a favorable environment right now, at least. It is, yeah, favorable. The yellow is neutral, and then the red is unfavorable. But yeah, it is, shear is blowing in this direction, so that's why you can see all the clouds on the western part of it. Yeah, sea surface temperatures are favorable, get better. Oceanic heat content gets good. No microwave passed recently. That's interesting. But yeah, nope. Okay. Don't think there's any observation. Oh, okay. There's several ships around the storm. 1,006 millibars was reported near it. All right. So now going over to what's the satellite winds? No. Okay. But yeah, this is going to be moving. Here, let me pull up all the models on this. Yeah, they're basically showing the same kind of trajectory as it. And zombies aren't going to do well on it because it kills them out when it hits land. But yeah, as you can see, most of them do have it curving towards land. National Hurricane Center is the most northernmost out of all of them. Yeah, but overall, the consensus may not hit land at all. But yeah, it's looking like it will though eventually. So that's why tropical storm watches are out in effect for the area. Alright, now going over to our next system, Norma. This should show its wind shear kind of conditions and stuff like that. Here it is. You can see IR not looking too good. Shear should be the cause. Yeah, as you can see, it's 30-40 knots, and the wind shear direction is this way. So that's why you can see all the clouds from the center are all displaced. You can see part of Otis on the bottom. Let me see if you can actually, yep, you can see it, guys. But yeah, that's that system. Now let's go over to the next one. This next one is going to be Cyclone Tej or Tej. Right. Here it is, a Category 1 right now, expected weaken due to the desert of the area. Yeah, wait, let me check this out real quick. And water, okay. Yeah, but if we go to imagery right now, as you can see, it's over where the center is right now. So shear right now, as you can see, it's increasing on the eastern part. You know, it's blowing this direction, and you can see that from the clouds. If the center's right here, you can see how all the clouds are displaced to the north, northeast. But in terms of sea surface temperatures, favorable. Oceanic heat content doesn't work for some reason. Yeah, moisture, as you can see, it's going to get very, very dry, very, very fast. This area is just very dry conditions all throughout the area, basically. Yeah, so this whole area is just dry, dry, dry air. And then this area is the moistness of it. So yeah, it is going to be intruding into the center, or the core of it, which will weaken it. As you can see, though, the northeastern side is protected, but it's just the western side that's very, very exposed. All right, so let's see, I doubt there's any other things in the area like oh, my bad. Doubt there's anything like ships in the area, but let me just double check. 1,008 millibars, no buoys. Surface observations, not much. Yeah, this is going to be approaching land very, very soon. Right now, let's look at Tropical Cyclone 6. Here it is over here. Shear should be blowing to the northeast. Let me double check. Yep, as you can see, the shear, these little lines are blowing this way. And the shear gets very, very bad in the area up there. Up to 90 knots all the way up here and stuff. That's very, very unfavorable. But yeah, the storm is going to be approaching this line right over here, which determines if it's unfavorable or not. It's going to happen very, very quickly, and as it does it, then it's going to just fall apart right before hitting land, thankfully. Just looking at this stuff. But yeah, sea surface temperature is not a problem. Moisture, not a problem as well. There's a little bit of dry air trying to intrude, as you can see through here. Little bits of dry air coming into the system, which is interesting to look at. Alright, now going back over to a final system, Lola. This will show just how good the conditions were and stuff like that. Alright, here it is, infrared imagery. You can see the eye over here, and this is an outdated cone somewhat. Now it's a category 4. This still shows it when it was a category 2. Yeah, sea surface temperatures, there it goes. As you can see, it's going to be falling off very fast. Precipitable water looks good. Oceanic heat content's very favorable in the region. Yeah, as you can see, this was the eye developing, and in a microwave pass, you can clearly see the eye forming out of it, and it's likely did a complete formation of it. But yeah, shear, if we pull this up again, shear is not really an issue at all in this region. It's in two very, very favorable environments. These are like your upper level lows, that kind of stuff. That is very, very favorable, like almost no shear in those areas. So yeah, shear won't be a problem for a while, but as you can see, the jet stream over here really, really gonna pick up soon. Alright, so yeah, that's Tay. Nothing like an ace cat pass, I don't think. One. Yeah, nothing like that, but as you can see though, the outflow of the system, very, very healthy. You can see how far away the system is turning towards it, especially over in this region. So yeah, it is very, very healthy. Right now it is very broad as well, which really helps it against any sort of dangerous conditions. This whole system is very, very massive for where it's located. Right now we're getting new updates from the cyclones. Norma has transitioned into a post-tropical cyclone with winds of 35 miles an hour. Let me see if that's up here. We have blast advisory issued on Norma, just waiting the cone to come out. So yeah, it is a, here it is. So recently, okay, Norma becomes remnant low. This is the last NHC advisory. Finally, it's done. But yeah, now we have another, basically, we're waiting on Tammy's to update. And also seeing if they designate 95L as anything. Otis hasn't updated. Otis should, and we'll get new cones for these systems, thankfully. Or has it updated? No, it hasn't. Still waiting on it too. Oh, that's Central Daylight Time. Yep, okay, so yeah. Waiting on that to update soon. Tammy's still waiting on that one as well. But yeah, we're slowly waiting on these cones to come out and stuff like that. And this should update soon, seeing it as a post-tropical system. And I do believe, yeah, Norma briefly strengthened over here. Hold on. Let me pull this up. As there was more prominent convection over the center, it did strengthen slightly, as we said earlier in our last stream, or one of our last streams, saying that it could go from 60 to 65 miles an hour. I don't know where the clip of it is, but yeah. So now we're waiting on these other cones to come out, such as Otis, these kind of things. See if 95L has been designated as anything. I'd personally designate it as a potential tropical cyclone. Looks like it, because of the conditions, they need to be warned. But you can see just how much cloud cover just got sheared away from Norma's center right down over here. It is just or lots of areas. Not really drenching any. Oh yeah, it is drenching parts of Texas. Yeah, so you can see how much cloud cover there is, which does prevent severe weather, I believe. So that's very good. Yeah, I'm still waiting on the new cones. They should come out within the next 17 minutes or so, and then we'll finally be able to see it. So when that finally comes out, then we'll know more about its intensity and what is this? This is Tammy's. Tammy's cone will be it might be over Bermuda, the center of it potentially. They might curve it down south a little bit. They might curve it up north a little bit. Don't know where the next point is going to be. It might be anywhere basically. It might keep it in the same spots or something. Yeah, we got 4 main systems that will get somewhat of an update within the next 16 minutes. Yeah, and I don't think Lola or the other Lola or Tej will get any new updates for quite a bit. But yeah, Lola, I believe there's cyclone warnings in Vanuatu. Personally, our team would do that throughout the next 48 hours or 36 hours. Yeah. So yeah, those islands are getting hammered pretty soon. We'll need a stream tomorrow morning. It looks like on as the system approaches the islands of Vanuatu. So we'll do another stream then. Looks like. And this Tej is almost making landfall soon. As you can see, an eye is starting to pop out again. Let me see if we got any good imagery on this. I doubt it. Yeah, that's part of its eye coming back out, so as you can see. I'm not doing a very good job. It's a little bit more north than what that shows. I believe so, at least. No, actually, no, that is basically where it is. Let me see if I can get a loop of this to show where it's been or whatever. Yep, there it is. The eye over there is starting to become more prominent once again. It's mainly dry air, I'd say, as well, contributing to that. So the center maybe just a little bit more north, maybe over this area, so that prolonged landfall, meaning it weakens more, but would potentially dump more rainfall in the areas. Just waiting on that stuff to happen. I'm noticing some severe weather happening over Africa. That's been pretty interesting to watch. But yeah, new cones should be out within the next 14 minutes, or now 13 minutes until it comes out. I'm going to see if the National Hurricane Center page updated. They did Norma, so that was interesting. Alright, here we go. Tammy moving northward, heavy rains lingering over portions of the Leeward Islands. They're keeping it at 80 miles an hour, 993 millibars. Interesting. Their discussion shouldn't be out, I don't think. Let me check. Oh no, it is out. Let me look at their 10C guidance, what they still think it's going to peak out at 90 miles an hour before gradually weakening. They think it's going to become a post-tropical cyclone within 72 hours, so 3 days. Let me look at Norma's cone if that's finally come out. Here it is over Mexico now. It has made landfall briefly. Alright, but let me go back to this other thing. Looks like Otis is out. Otis forecast to strengthen as it approaches southern Mexico. Heavy rainfall expected to be the main threats. This is the new cone that just came out. They are predicting now a 65 mile an hour peak, so they have increased it slightly. So yeah, in this region, it is going to be the strongest. So yeah, it is strengthening. It does have some good time to rapidly organize throughout the next 24 hours, We could be looking at a hurricane peak with this. I can't rule that out. These systems tend to like to strengthen when they're given this kind of environment, so you cannot rule this possibility out. Yeah, it's looking like it will dissipate within the next 4 days, though, thankfully. But yeah, Mexico's been hit pretty hard this season. Max has gone in this specific region, so on Lydia over here, it's been a rough season for them so far. Just wondering what this system's going to do next. Yeah, 95L almost making landfall soon, or within the next 24 hours or so. Just waiting on this thing to occur. It is going to strike in near Blue Fields, Nicaragua. This area, the center of it at least. There may be some gusty winds, rainfall, but another main thing, a main threat with this is going to be mudslides as well. But yeah, I don't expect it to go any further north or anything like that. That's I don't know why they did it. In case of a center relocation or something. But yeah, basically this whole entire area of Nicaragua needs to look out. But mainly the southern side in this area needs to be on the lookout for heavier rainfall amounts. But yeah, the northern side as well going to be get hit with heavier rain. See if they actually have the radar. Yeah, they do. Alright. Yeah, it's not that good of a radar, but still. If I pull this up, though, we'll see it better. The center of it is almost directly east of Punta Gorda. And now we just wait on the new cone for Tammy. Here it is. They have it near Bermuda. They shifted it a little bit more north. Hurricane wind field seems to have expanded slightly. But yeah, it is going to become a post-tropical cyclone within the next 72 hours, likely, before it starts shifting to the west. But yeah, no, okay. Yeah, this is a very interesting thing on seeing what each of these systems will do. It doesn't seem like they're going to designate 95L. It may become a tropical depression or something. We need to do some reanalysis on this to see if it has done that or not. I can't really make the decision right now to declare it one. But yeah, as you can see though, here's the little bits of the CDO, or the central dense overcast over here of the storm. See it because there's a little bit of a fade in clouds over here, which shows that this is the banding part of the storm mainly, and then this is the central part of it. Yeah, so it's very close to the edge of it. Looks like you could make a case and say that it's centered there if you're counting over this area. Yeah, it's looking like 90-mile-an-hour peak forecasted. They have updated this. So now they show Bermuda over here, even closer to the center of it. So they're going to be threatened again. Here is Otis's cone. You can see the 65-mile-an-hour dots right over in this area. Before then, it finally weakens to a tropical storm, 40 miles an hour, and then probably die near Guerrero. Yeah. Yeah, Tammy looks pretty nice in the open Atlantic. Has beautiful imagery. It kind of reminds me of somewhat of Franklin when it was first starting. It's mainly due to the wind shear to the northeast that does this when it's a hurricane and stuff like that. But yeah, it is becoming more and more organized gradually. Alright, so yeah, my closing thoughts on all these systems, though, real quick, though, is that, yeah, a norma's basically dead. That can basically be stated right now. You can see it's remnant low over there. We've got in Tammy, which looks like a beautiful hurricane, which is going to be 50-50 shot on if it turns back up to the northeast or if it goes down towards the Bahamas and Florida as a post-tropical cyclone. We have 95L, which may be a tropical cyclone or not, likely a potential tropical cyclone. Tay is nearing a hurricane landfall or cyclone landfall in Yemen as a powerful system. You can see all the new banding to the northeast or northwest of it, impacting the areas with heavy rainfall. 06B is going to be strengthening briefly before dying out before striking Bangladesh. Then we have other systems like Lola, which is the most powerful system so far right now. And yeah, this will likely be the end of the stream for right now. At least it doesn't seem like many people are watching. So I'm gonna stop it right here. Thank you everyone for whoever watched. We will do another stream likely tomorrow morning on Lola approaching the area of Vanuatu that day. So yeah, see you. Let me see. I might do another one later on tonight. But yeah,